Brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and inspireddisorder.com/audible.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Swipe Up, the 91st episode of the show, where I share some of my favorite posts from Instagram. Let's get it started, shall we? With the first post from Doug Benson. Getting Doug with High is coming back. They're starting off with some virtual Space Mint episodes, as it were. This is the show where Doug Benson sits down with one or two of his comedian friends, and they smoke weed and they talk about different topics. There's some weed-related storytelling, I guess. It's just a fun time. It's a fun hang, and it's a show that I miss. It's one of the many podcasts or shows that this one was canceled before coronavirus, so I guess they were looking for new places to bring the show. I really enjoyed the show. I didn't like they started syndicating it, which constrained the show to, I want to say, 90 minutes, maybe an hour, but I prefer, especially that show, a show about weed, to be as structured as it was. Just the more structure it had, the less I liked it. I still loved it. There was some marathon episodes that Doug did for 420. Like, there was one he did out here in Palm Springs, some marathon show, and there was some that he did there. Those were really fun shows to watch. But I miss the show in general. So the first guest is going to be Todd Glass. I think they did one for their Patreon page, which I'm not a member of the Getting Doug with High Patreon page. But, looking forward. They're going through BetterBox Studios, which I'm a huge fan of BetterBox. They've been doing some great stuff. They've taken over for helping out Kill Tony, doing their quarantine episodes. They used to do Josh Wolf's Controlled Chaos. They're doing a roast battle through there now. And now Getting Doug with High hopefully will be, they'll do it remote, but eventually they'll hopefully just do the show there. I really love it. It's one of the studios, podcast studios, that seems to be able to adapt. They have like the perfect setup to be able to do all these different things, and it's really cool to see them kind of grow as a studio, but also to see all the cool shows that are going over there, like Getting Doug with High. So I'm super excited for that show to come back. It's definitely a show. They're live shows also. If you're looking, go on YouTube, Doug Benson's YouTube page, and look up Getting Doug with High, the marathon, and then the live episodes they did were classic episodes, some of the best stuff. But moving on now to this, it's been a while since I've seen this, but it's so cool. It's a performance art piece where it's a spinning platform, this square platform, and these two people kind of look like they're from the 1950s, just walking around it in a way, and stopping, and it's just, I know you've seen it. If you're listening, it would behoove you to check out the video. But it's interesting to see the kind of the look of what you can do with a spinning stage like this. To kind of, it's kind of telling, kind of the a love story in a way. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't really know why I added this one. It just looks cool. So how about that? So moving on to something that sounds cool. A year from now, you will wish you had started today. This is something that so many people have such a problem with doing, just starting. Whatever it is. There's so many people in my life. It's so frustrating for me to constantly encourage and try to motivate them to start doing the thing that they've been just pining over doing, whether it's starting an Instagram page for their business or starting their own YouTube page to share their yoga stuff, or it's doing artwork or just doing anything. So many people just fail to start. And it's like, one thing I noticed doing a podcast, especially doing a podcast regularly, before you know it, you've added up or it's the same thing with the faces that I do, the paintings that I do. It's just like before you know it, you have hundreds of pieces of work in your portfolio, as it were. And I never would have had that if I had not started. And the whole reason people, it's like they don't want to be judged. They know they're not good yet. They think they're going to get good before they start. It's like you're never going to get good unless you do it regularly. And you can only do it regularly if you actually start doing it. So just imagine how much you could have gotten done if you had started a year ago. Like if you started a year ago, you did a podcast every week, you have 52 episodes. And by 52 episodes, you're completely comfortable. You should be completely comfortable doing the show. I mean, you're going to have a much higher comfortability doing your show than you would have before you even started. So I love that. And I'm not a big fan of people that post text on Instagram, but it's just something that I agree with and wanted to share. And of course, Juneteenth happened this past week. Which I was not aware of, a lot of people. But we're in a time where white people like myself are being educated on Black history in a way we never were before. Even though there is a Black History Month, no, the history is not. We have horrible education in this country. Just the most ridiculous education in this country, and it shows. There's proof of it everywhere. There's so much proof of how horrible our education is that people would rather watch YouTube videos on some conspiracy theory rather than actually reading a book on something. Like it's just it's like lazy education is all we care about. So Juneteenth, let me read this. The holiday that commemorates the official end of slavery, despite the Emancipation Proclamation 2 years prior, Texas was the most remote of the slave states with low union representation and increasing slave population. Juneteenth is a symbol of total freedom for slave trade across all states, including Texas. Of course, Texas was the last holdout. And that's June 19th, 1865 is when Juneteenth started. And I saw a lot of businesses are starting to acknowledge that as a holiday. I don't know if it ended up being a holiday, but it should be. It should be a holiday. Like, let's take Columbus Day out or turn Columbus Day into Native American Day or whatever. And then I'm all for another holiday. I don't really give a shit. Like, so many of our holidays are based on a fucking bunny that lays chocolate eggs. Like, you want to talk about ridiculous holidays that are for just a book that was written a long time ago. Like, let's commemorate historical moments in these holidays more so to remind us of how horrible this country was at one point. And just another example of just how backwards Texas is. But yeah, happy Juneteenth to everybody. Hopefully everybody celebrated it in some way. I don't know. Moving on now to there's a court ruling. Court rules 1964 civil rights law bars employers from discrimination against workers based on sexual orientation or transgender status. There was a lot of Trump's trying to get rid of a lot of rights for a lot of people in these times before he gets voted out, hopefully. And thankfully, Supreme Courts have been doing the right thing and voting the right way. Surprising that it's to kind of shoot down Trump's attempts for getting rid of a lot of gay rights in this country, which is disgusting. And so congratulations. Here's a picture. Activists and supporters hold a rally outside the U.S. Supreme Court as it hears arguments in a major LGBTQ plus rights case. But yeah, it was another victory. A lot of victories happening. A lot of small victories, but steps nonetheless. And let's move on now. I'm a huge critic of the public art in the Coachella Valley. I think it's very boring. It's primarily metal statues are the only real public art that's around. There's really not a lot of murals, except for this one. It's a George Floyd mural, I Can't Breathe, painted by, I think he's a local artist, Mr. Alec. And I think it was also sponsored by, or Flat Black is a art supply place out in the valley here in Palm Desert, and a studios. I think they helped contribute as well. Maybe they donated the paint or whatever. But it's one of the very few murals that are out in the valley. It's out on Palm Springs, I think on Palm Canyon Drive. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like it was painted on. There's a few kind of towards the end of the like, it's not in a high traffic place. Let's say that. But this valley needs a lot more murals. There's a lot of walls that are just brown stucco, and I think we could really make the valley look amazing if we started funding more artists to help decorate it. But yeah, great mural. Really happy to see something of beauty despite the tragedy that inspired it. All right, that's it. Let's do some shout outs to get out of here. Shout out to You Don't Know Doug. Shout out Juxtapose Mag. Shout out Yoan_Borges. Shout out Loyiso Gola. Shout out Gary V, Fat Mike Dude, Coachella Valley Magazine, and Mr. Alec. Shout out to all of you, and shout out to you for watching. Be sure to check out our sponsors, StationHouseCoffee.com and Station House Coffee on the Instagrams for small batch, single origin, premium coffee, brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Tell them the Ray Taylor Show sent you, and I guarantee that will put a smile on their face. So if you are in the need for coffee right now that is amazing, go to stationhousecoffee.com and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram and order your coffee today. InspiredDisorder.com/audible is where you go to get 2 free Audible books. That's right. You get a free trial with Audible, the #1 audiobook provider. Just go to the link, InspiredDisorder.com/audible, to get your 2 free books. That includes, in your membership, 1 credit equals 1 book per month. There's also Audible Originals, guided wellness programs, and news, all through Audible service. So go to InspiredDisorder.com/audible, AUDIBLE, for 2 books now. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/InspiredDisorder. Go buy Ray Taylor Show merch at InspiredDisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace. Out!